Boring.
Conor Benn was a welterweight, but he's gone up.
He obviously couldn't find anyone to fight Conor Benn.
Well, there isn't even a belt online here, I don't think, is there? It's just a catchweight fight.
This could ruin Conor Benn's career, this.
Is Conor Benn just going to be too big? Prograis?
Yeah, I think so.
But all right, you're getting 15 million. I can see why you're doing it.
There's something going on with the promotion of this fight as well.
See, for him, it's not that bad thing because it's a decent sized fight at the end of his career.
A waste of space in the boxing world.
Welcome back to BoxCast. In this episode, we're looking up the upcoming fight between Conor Benn and Regis Prograis, taking place on the 11th of April 2026 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, UK. It's going to be shown on Netflix, both in the US and the UK. Let's start with a tail. It's at a catchweight, £150, so we'll start with a tail of the tape. Conor Benn has a record of 24 wins, 1 loss, 0 draws, 25 fights in total. 14 wins by KO. He's age 29. He's 5'8", 173 centimeters tall, and he's got a 68-inch, 173 centimeter reach. This fight is a catchweight at £150, and he fights out of an orthodox stance. Regis Prograis has a record of 30 wins, 3 losses, 0 draws. 33 fights in total, 24 wins by KO. He's age 37. He's also 5'8", 173 centimeters tall, and he's got a 67-inch reach, 170 centimeters, and he fights out of a southpaw stance. This fight's taking place on the undercard of Fury Makhmadov at Hotspur Stadium. Added since we've done that video. So, thoughts, Simon?
Boring.
Do you know why it's at catchweight?
Conor Benn can't make 147.
Okay. But then why not fight people at
Because
154?
Zuffa Boxing haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Oh yeah, we haven't said about Zuffa Boxing. Yeah, go on first. I think we should address that.
Plain and simple.
Conor Benn has left Eddie Hearn.
Conor Benn has stabbed Eddie Hearn in the back.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better way of putting it.
After chickening out with fights offered of the likes of Crocker, Josh Kelly, world title fight at 154. I think they even offered him a title fight at 147. And look, he got offered 15 million, and you know, fair dues. You look after your family, you get 15 million for one fight. Good, but don't start touting that you want to be a world champion before that, which you were doing. You know, you were out in the state, ringside, calling out
everybody and the dog.
I think you've called out Crawford, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. You get offered them fights, you say no, and then you go to Zuffa Boxing, who are a waste of space in the boxing world. As far as I'm concerned, they're just going to destroy boxing, Zuffa. Hopefully they don't last long. They've got the money that they most probably will, but any proper boxers out there shouldn't be signing for Zuffa because
well, I think the sanctioning bodies aren't doing it because Opatai has been told, I think now, that he'll be stripped if he
his
goes for the Zuffa belt.
The Zuffa belt, I mean, sounds like something from the WWE. Sorry.
We're going to make one the genuine fake belt.
Absolute joke.
We should have our own ranking.
And Conor Benn, you know, he gets 15 million for one fight, and they give him Regis Prograis at 150.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense at the
weight. You know what? Whatever. I'm a Conor Benn fan.
I mean, politics aside, this is a good fight, but it's the thing has ruined the
it's at a catchweight. I hate bloody fights.
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Does me head in
because Prograis normally is super lightweight, isn't he? He's around about 140 pounds.
Co-main event? Don't think so.
And Conor Benn was a welterweight, but he's gone up, so probably that's...
Yeah, I think Prograis, like, isn't he having to move up like £10? The highest he's fought, 140.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's super lightweight normally, isn't it?
Just joke.
I mean, I think he obviously because of age, so he has had a fight at 142 pounds, but like, yeah, it's still £8 jump up.
He obviously couldn't find anyone to fight Conor Benn. Oh no, sorry, because Zuffa have got no decent boxers. This could ruin Conor Benn's career. This
it could potentially,
like, seriously ruin it.
It depends what he's doing it for, because the thing is, if you're getting paid however many fights,
if he's doing it for money, go ahead, go and do it for money. You know, it's a bit like that the live golf, isn't it?
But it's where are you gonna go from here?
And I think the boxing's gonna go away. Gonna be like the live golf. The Saudis take over live golf. Let's give all these players hundreds and hundreds of millions. But they're all going back to the normal golf now. Why? Because winning the live event doesn't mean anything. Just like winning a Zuffa belt isn't going to mean anything. If like the WBU belt that they used to have, it's nothing. It's a nothing belt.
Well, there isn't even a belt online here, I don't think, is there? Because it's not at a weight that is, it's just a catchweight fight.
Dana White, Zuffa boxing, it's off. This seriously, I've just got a horrible feeling it's going to ruin boxing.
I'm not sure it's going to ruin boxing because they haven't come across, but I don't think it helps these fighters who've gone there. I mean, he isn't really the marker of it. I think this is, it's a good pay package. He's gone for that. I think Opatai will be the one where we see if they can make anything happen or not. Because if he gets stripped, then he's only got the Zuffa belt, assuming he wins. Yeah. And then it's what they do after that, isn't it? I think he's the real measure because he's the top dog. I mean, Conor Benn's probably the bigger draw, but Opatai is the biggest name if you're a boxing fan in their stable, in it, that they haven't got. And I have noticed recently, yesterday or the day before, Eddie Hearn's taken their biggest UFC fighter into one of the big names, Tom Aspinall, heavyweight of them. So
look, it's just
a tit for that.
I mean, I think it's going to get nasty. I think you've got Frank Warren already trying to sue Zuffa for $1 billion.
Well, the people behind.
There's a bit of something going on with the promotion of this fight as well, which I'm hearing rumours that there's something going on with it. So look out for that. I bet you there's going to be a few lawsuits after this. I don't know. I don't know.
Should we put the politics aside and get on to boxing? Just treat it as a normal fight and let's see. What do we think? Is Conor Benn just going to be too big for Prograis?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think the sizing.
It's going to go one or two ways. It's going to be complete dominance from Conor Benn. Because he is too big and too strong, or Prograis going to hand it to him, and it'll be the end of Conor Benn, and he'll go crawling back with a nappy on, trying to kiss Eddie Hearn. Please get me some fight, please.
Yeah,
and Eddie Hearn will go, yeah. It's been interesting. I can't make sense of the fight, though, to be fair.
Well, you would have thought they were paying him $15 million to get him. I mean, no disrespect to Prograis, he's good, but he's sort of towards the end of his career, and it's a smaller. It's not really a 147, 150 guy.
The Conor Benn Eubank fight for $15 million, yeah, you get it, because it's Conor Benn and Eubank.
Mm-hmm. Well, essentially, Conor Benn's made his name out of those two fights.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why he's got a following. Is the only reason he can go and call out Shakur and other people like that, because he's a big draw. So it's a big fight. It's a big payday.
They were huge fights.
It's not on pure boxing merit. It's on that. Although, to be fair, yeah, in this latter fight, he was really, really good. But
look, if it was not on the, say it was just Conor Benn, Prograis at the O2. Do you think it sells out? I don't.
Not at Catchweight as well, especially. Say you'd been a 147.
Were you buying a ticket for it?
No.
Neither am I.
Even pay-per-view.
Or if it's Conor Benn against Josh Kelly. Ooh.
Well, the thing is this.
Ooh.
If you look at super middleweight.
Or Conor Benn, Ryan Garcia. Ooh.
Yeah.
Conor getting Benn Prograis.
It doesn't really
That's
excite
like, it's not a headline fight. It's a third fight down.
Well, the thing is, it's not even the same division because realistically, even the lightest would be welterweight. So the fact that it's a catchweight ruins it for me. The fact that, but the thing is this, you look at the people. So super middleweight, Ortiz Jr., Fandora, Zayas, Madrimov, Enes Kelly,
welterweight, sorry.
Super welterweight, sorry. And you've got others in there. It's a huge list of fighters. And then you go to welterweight, Haney, Norman Jr., Stanionis, Garcia, Romero, Catrol, other people, Curiel. There's a huge other list of people. You've got a load of good fighters. So it's not like there was a shortage of people you could have made a fight with.
Well, no, because I think Eddie Hearn even offered him a title fight against Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
Against Lewis Crocker.
Which is huge.
In the UK, it's massive.
It's a sellout event.
Yeah, you'd sell out the Stadium of Light up in Sunderland. Could most probably do possibly Tottenham again.
You'd probably sell out Tottenham. If you put a good undercard on it, yeah. And Hearn normally does.
But I just think, I get why Conor Benn's done it. 15 million. If you offer me 15 million to go and speak to someone else on a YouTube
Simon's
channel,
available, just in
I'm
case.
going. See you later.
Zuffa Boxing is available. Don't ignore all his comments.
But it's the fact of...
You might be next.
But he's touting like, I want to be a world champion. I want to follow my dad's footsteps, win the WBC belt. You're never going to win it now.
Well, like you said, he's called out everybody from, Shakur upwards and everybody else's name. Haney.
But he was saying,
Garcia and everybody else.
Yeah, he'll get the Ryan Garcia fight now. He's with Zuffa. Well, it's not going to be for the WBC belt because they're not recognising Zuffa.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
And Garcia's got another good fight. He's got Haney number 2, the rematch. And
which he's going to make more than 15 million for fighting.
Yeah, he's
Conor
big
Benn.
enough to make. He's got enough name, and both of them have. And you've got, and that's like, what's his name? Unification title fight now, isn't it?
Yeah. I did notice. I've read this morning that Jack Catchweight said if Prograis pulls out, he'll step in. Because I think Jack Catchweight beat Conor Benn.
I was just going to say that's more of a fight, isn't it? Yeah, I can see.
I'm just disappointed that it's. I think.
Well, but the problem with it is they pulled in Opataya and him, and you look at the fight, and no disrespect to Glanton or Regis Prograis. You look at you look at where they've gone and where they've gone to, and you're thinking that's not really a big step up in opponents. If you'd have pulled somebody out, like if the Zuffa had got Opataya and gone, yeah, we've got you, Noel McCallion. It's a unification fight. You'd have gone,
great, well done.
And in here, if you'd have got Conor Benn at a proper weight, well, all right, I can see why if the fight against Prograis, but if it was at a proper weight, either a 154 or 147. But the problem is Prograis isn't that either of those weights fighter. If you got him a proper fight, like somebody of Prograis level, but at 147 or 154, you could go, meh, but all right, you're getting 15 million. I can see why you're doing it.
It's not just that. It's that Conor Benn's been shouting out, calling the best of the best.
Yeah. And then you're going to do a catchweight fight for nothing.
Yeah, against...
It doesn't make sense.
Against who?
Apart from the 15 million. So, but I'm not sure that makes sense from Zuffa's point of view.
15 million for fighting...
Yeah.
In this fight, or is it 15 million for
a next fight at some point?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if he's managed to pull 15 million for this, well done to you. That's quite good.
But if I'm Regis Prograis, I'm saying, well,
I'm going to spoil the party here.
Well, I'm not just saying that. I'm saying, well, I want 10 million then.
He's probably getting a decent pay packet. But then the thing is, for him, it's not the end of his career.
Back in the day, a few years ago, Prograis was a good fighter, you know.
Well, if Prograis was younger and they were the same weight, if this is at like a 140, 147, I'd have my money on Prograis. Only because of his age, and now he's towards the end. See, for him, it's not that bad thing because it's a decent sized fight. at the end of his career, and he's probably getting a decent pay packet. Or you might not get a great audience, but you're getting a decent pay packet.
I think Prograis.
But Prograis been in with good people.
I think
if you look at, and he's beaten good people. Because he only lost against Cattrall and Haney. The Cattrall one, obviously, wasn't that long ago.
It's a close fight as well, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't that far apart. Or a Haney's Haney got outboxed.
What worried me after that was that Prograis' interview was he was basically done with boxing.
Yeah. Well, we've said to him, and he's been really good.
Yeah,
because he's only at that point he'd only lost to Josh Taylor and Devin Haney,
and that was a close fight against Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
But it was after the Jack Catchweight fight where he said
it was a majority decision for Josh Taylor.
He was going to.
Haney's the only one who's really taken him to town.
He was going to do bare knuckle after the.
Yeah, he was going to do something else
because he just.
Well, this is nearly like that, isn't it?
He said he just didn't have it anymore.
This is just bare knuckle with gloves on, Simon.
I don't get it. He must be getting paid quite a bit of money.
No, I understand the fight from Prograis' position because, like we said, he was basically retired. He's a 37. You know, he's probably getting a few million for this. Like, you might as well. You know, it's worthwhile doing, and you're in a big stadium that's probably going to be full, sold out.
Is it?
Probably not because of these two, because of the main fight. But
or have they put that on quickly because like the Fury Makhmadov fight wasn't selling well?
Yeah, they might have just added another fight to make it.
I thought Frank Warren was Fury's promoter.
He was, but isn't there? I don't know for this fight because there's something funny about Netflix. Fury Makhmadov.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
We need to do a bit of research. Let us know in the comments if you know a bit more about that.
Excited from what I'm hearing. It's all a bit up in the air. This. But like I said, I think this fight will go one or two ways. I think it'll be Conor Benn will just completely too big, too quick, and completely overpower him.
Well, the thing is, Conor Benn has to win.
Oh, you've got him.
Because if he loses and he's just moved and pulled all these stunts, you just like it's career suicide, basically, isn't it? Prograis loses nothing. He's getting a payday. Right, Conor Benn is destroying his career.
Right, if Conor Benn's
if he doesn't put in a good performance to get him out of there.
If Conor Benn's next fight was Ryan Garcia at 147 and gets beat, he's got an excuse because he goes, "Oh, I'm not a 147 fighter because I've been up at 160. I can fight at
it's also
145," and he's lost against a world class opponent. And Eddie Hearn building back up.
He'd still get another fight. He
loses this.
Where'd you go?
I think it's career over.
Yeah, where'd you go? What he's going to do?
I do genuinely think it's career over.
It's not that old. Who's going to give him a fight? Because
I mean, Zuffa might say, "All right, we'll give you a contract with Zuffa Boxing, but you're going to be fighting.
You ain't going to be getting 15 million."
No. Well, this is the problem. You get 15 million for one fight. What do you expect for the next fight?
Yeah.
And the next fight after that.
Which only makes sense.
And the next fight after that.
If he puts on a really good performance, blows them out of there, and then they can go, then you can get that next level opponent. But like, if you lose.
If he loses and then he wants 15 million for his next fight against Juan Mountain Hilltop Binman.
I was going to say Simon. I was going to send it to you.
Is Zuffa going to say...
Can you still make 150 or 154?
Zuffa going to tell him to get knotted, aren't they?
You're not that much young. You're not that much older than Prograis. I haven't said you. We need the funding, is this outside? So
I just... you know what? Good luck to him. I understand why he's moved. I do get it.
Yeah, if he blows him out of there...
The way he's done it...
It's not nice.
Pretty crappy, to be fair to him. And I think because of all the screaming and shouting he's done over the past few months, jumping in the ring with Shakur and Garcia and Rolly Romero and everything he does, and then fighting Regis Prograis. And that's no disrespect to Regis Prograis. If it was 5 years ago...
Like I said, I'd have money on Prograis, to be honest.
It's a great fight.
At a similar weight, like 140 or 5 years ago, I'd have the money on Prograis.
I just... like I say, it's hard to pick a winner because you don't know what Prograis got left.
Yeah.
Well, it's not hard to pick a winner. It's like you don't know what Prograis got.
I think in the Jack Cattrall Romero Prograis fight, didn't we? We sort of gave him a send off. So because that's what it sounded like. Like he's had a great career. It's all done. And he has had a good career. So a really good career. So yeah, I'm not sure there's anything left. Which is the thing that if he has one of those, old man performances and causes trouble and Ben doesn't get him out of there, yeah, it's career suicide. Romero, next fight. Because Romero, I was just going to say Romero while reminding me of his.
I don't know. I can't even pick a winner in this one. I don't even want to pick a winner.
Oh, Haney and Romero's been
touted,
isn't it? That's what I was just going to say while we're thinking of them.
Not happy with it. End of video.
Odds 2-25 minus 1200 for Conor Benn. 7-1 plus 700 for Regis Prograis.
I'm putting £100 on Regis Prograis.
You should. That's a good bet. And the predictions, there's only 2, so it's 1 for each, 50-50. Prograis by KO, Conor Benn by KO. Not a great data set. So go on then. What are you going to do?
Genuinely don't know.
I'll go first then. I'm going to have Ben, 7th round KO. Let me just check. It's not like 6 rounds though. You never know with these things.
Don't tell me it's 6 rounds, because if it's 6 rounds, I'm going to go absolutely
12 rounds
off my head.
I've got Ben, 7 round KO.
Look, I think Ben's intensity, let's get back to boxing. Forget the politics. Yeah. Ben's intensity, I think, and size should carry him through.
Because he's still got the speed at the size.
He's he's got speed. And he showed against Eubank, all right, it was a shell of a Eubank, that he's got boxing skill as well.
Yeah. And he can stay disciplined.
Prograis a tricky customer, mate.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's got left.
Well, I'm banking on that he hasn't got that much left. Like
if
I said, he's retired.
Nothing left.
This should be fairly easy work.
Yeah, it'll be like Ben versus Algieri. And he should take care of him quite handily.
Yeah.
And if he starts calling out champions after that, I'm going to jump in the ring and slap him.
You're going to send you to fight him.
Not that I'm going to that fight, because I'm definitely not. But yeah, I think he should take care of him. Prograis or what? I don't think Ben stops him.
Okay, Ben on points.
Yeah. Or Prograis stoppage.
Okay, I'm going to give you both.
And I tell you what, if Prograis stops him, oh, wow.
Eddie Hearn is going to be the happiest guy.
Do you know what? No, I don't think he will.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
To be honest, I think generally he wants him to do well.
Because he likes Conor Benn.
Yeah. I think he'll be disappointed.
But he will. It will be one of them.
It's the biggest karma comeback. What goes around comes around.
Yeah. Ooh, be careful.
The thing is, I actually like Regis Prograis, and I think this is. I'm just banking on the fact that I don't think he's got anything left, and he's jumping up. The size jump is too much.
Do you know what the biggest worry is?
If it was like a 140 like 5 years ago, I'd have my money on Prograis all day long.
My biggest worry is Prograis is just taking. He doesn't really care whether he wins or loses. It's just money.
Well, there's nothing.
And if that's the case, Conor Benn will win easily. But I get the feeling Prograis.
I think Prograis is one of those with will have a little bit of personal pride.
Mm.
But I don't think he's going to kill himself. So it's going to be enough to. That's why we're 7th in it round. I was going to do like third round, but I think he's going to do enough. But Prograis are tricky enough that if he could last the 12 rounds.
I'll watch the highlight of it. I'm not watching. Oh, it's on Netflix, isn't it? It depends if it gets in the way.
But we're going to watch the card. I'm going to do a video. Otherwise, I wouldn't be that bothered about it, to be honest.
Depends if it gets in the way.
We have to watch it.
I might be watching The Good Doctor or Everwood or
something else might be on. The Paint Tribe might be.
New Peaky Blinders film I'll be watching. Oh, no, that's out this week.
So we've done all the bits and pieces. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on this fight. What do you think of Zuffa boxing? What do you think of Ben going there? What do you think of this as a matchup? Do you think any Regis Prograis fans? Do you think there's anything left?
Come on, Regis.
Does he pull off? I think that'd be a really big upset, isn't it? So it ruins a lot of people's plans. You know, it'd be worth it for just ruining plans.
Look, we want Conor Benn to do well.
Yeah.
We do. And maybe when it's all calmed down and
Well, no, if he pulls off a performance, and I think it'll calm down a bit because then you should be stepping to that fight.
It's just, I think it's just
But
because
if it's a banana skin, then
it's all because of the noise he's been making, and then he does this. It's a bit like, hold on, jumping in the ring with Shakur, mate, and Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, the different level of fighter.
And,
Well, it's a size thing. It's not about Prograis because Prograis is a really good boxer, but he's at the end, he's near enough retired, and he's jumping here up like 10 pounds from his normal. Realistically, he's a 140 fighter. So he's jumping up 10 pounds to fight 150 against, a guy who's been up before. What did they fight? Conor Benn 168? 160, isn't it? Middleweight they fought. Yeah. So
Eubank Jr. to Zuffa, third fight trilogy. Boom.
That's the next fight. You heard it here first.
Eubank Jr. promoted by Eddie.
That would be the greatest. It'd be worth watching that just for the sake of watching. You heard it here first. So Sam's going to tell you what the next fight is after this. So assuming Ben wins, what's the next fight, Sam? Go do the announcement.
If Eubank Jr. didn't hate Eddie Hearn so much, I could see that happening. Oh, God.
That could be the greatest marketing stunt in the history of boxing.
Do you know
marketing.
what? I think
that probably would pull it off.
I've got a feeling there's a lot of twists and turns and some things that nobody knows about yet, that when it comes out, I think it's going to blow a few people away. I think there's plans that...
I think they're going to sort it out. I think Zuffa's obviously a fresh upstart, but they've got backing.
Bye, Zuffa.
I think the fights and the things will work out in some way.
Dana White will ruin Zuffa.
He
already is. I'm telling you, he's ruining boxers.
But I'm not sure he's the one who has the ultimate power. And I think this might be a gameplay to get certain fights made and stuff.
Let's just say,
but we'll wait and see.
The next two fights, Conor Benn and Optaya, both lose.
It's over.
Yeah, sorry, bye.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on in their heads now. Conor Benn and Optaya.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, Optaya, he's getting...
Well, they're both taking a gamble to go there.
Taking a gamble. Optaya most probably getting stripped of his IBF belt. Doesn't know what his next fight is because it's not going to be Zerdo. Mikhailian, they had that schedule, but that's gone. So there's a lot going on.
Well, it has to be one of them,
mentally,
isn't it?
There's a lot going on in their heads, and that could be distracting them from. And the same with Conor Benn.
Yeah.
And if you're not on point, the likes of Brandon Glenn and Prograis were saying, yeah, they should be beaten. If you're not on point, these are guys that will.
Well, Glanton definitely is very dangerous because he's still in his thing. Prograis is, like I said a while ago, I'd have money on Prograis on the size. It's only the size, and because he's at the end. So I think this is more like it's a filler fight rather than a thing.
Maybe
it's a must win for Ben because he can't afford to lose, and Zuffa can't afford for him to lose. I just
don't like Zuffa boxing. Don't like it.
But we'll see what happens in it. I think there's going to be a bit of. It's like everything.
It's maybe you don't like the fighters.
Well, no, I think there'll be a load of. I still love Optaya, so. And we still want Ben to win too. As much as we've been saying it, I still want Ben to win, get over it, and then see who he's fighting next. It's more the curiosity of see who fights next. And that's nothing against Prograis. I love Prograis as well, but it's like we've watched him and he's been in good fights. So, but I think he's just at the end. Conor Benn is still,
I reckon they might put a Zuffa belt on the line for this.
They can do. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't change anything really.
Absolutely,
it doesn't change anything, does it? Really?
Here you go, Nemel. Here's the Penn title.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Penn
I
champion.
accept this with.
That's basically what the Zuffa belt is. It's nothing, and it never will be nothing.
They're going to build it up, isn't it? So, but I don't think they will. I think this is just a strategy to get them thing, and they'll integrate into
boxing
the normal
is a sport
boxing
of history.
Yeah, I think they're going to integrate with the other things. I think this is just to get themselves to say, look, get some fighters on board. Do it, and then the Zuffa thing is just going to die, and it'll be Zuffa, but it won't be the belt and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put that on they'll integrate back with the WBC, the IBF, and everything else. But they've obviously got to do something to start up, and this is.
I'm the biggest critic of the governing bodies, as you well know.
Well, we've had you have your rants on here a few times.
I am the biggest critic of them, but it's history.
Well, they've got all the legacy behind them, isn't it? They've
And
got
they
that list
will
of
have
fighters.
forever. And boxers, maybe it's changing because of these YouTube misfits, Jake Paul, divvies and stuff. But if you're a WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, any one of them champions, it means something.
Yeah.
If you're a Zuffa champion,
At this moment in time, it means
it
nothing.
means nothing.
Yeah.
And in 10 years' time, I'm sorry, to me, it would mean nothing.
Well, to be fair, I don't think it means anything to Conor Benn and or Opatai. Opatai's not there for that. Opatai wants to fight.
The Ring Magazine belt, I get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense because that has been
That's
around
the
for a
same
long
thing.
time. And if you're just trying to get one world champion, no, I don't like that either. I like the fact that the divisions have 4 champions because you can have. And how exciting was it when Bivol better Biev for undisputed? How exciting was that?
Yeah, because there's so much on the
Usyk
line.
Fury for undisputed. Usyk Dubois, Crawford Canelo.
The problem is you've got too
Undisputed is it's amazing. You get excited when you hear this is for undisputed. You know, we've got a video coming up.
Because the thing
in a
is
way,
this, you've got those world title guys, like Bivol had a huge, awesome record anyway because he's got all the fights. And then Betabiev's got all those and then taken out the champions because all the champions had good ones that he's taken out. And then we've had 2 epic fights and hopefully we had a third. And like even Crawford stepping up to Canelo. Because that fight, if that wasn't made, the super middleweight doesn't open up and we don't get this Alasius and Co and people having fights.
I know. I was listening. Like he was saying, like, you know, it will shorten boxers' careers because they're going to be, if they just have this one belt and they fight mandatory after mandatory after mandatory. Your mandatory is usually your toughest. Maybe the IBF is, but your mandatory.
But they at least make the fights.
You're going to be in tough fight. So you're not going to be fighting 2-3 times a year.
Yeah, it only makes sense if you're champion. And the problem is that, like, people slag it off, but if you're having a really tough fight, it takes years out of you.
Yeah.
You can't
So I
fight till
think
like 40,
careers,
35, 37.
I think
And you
boxing
can't have the
careers
one
will
fight
shorten.
I don't think they're going to get there. I think you're going to have to stay and it'll just be an additional thing. They might get it to be in a point, but I think it'll probably die as a belt. But Zuffa Promotions will stay. I think the belt will die out.
I mean, I don't know nothing about UFC, but I don't see
the difference is this, isn't it? I'll give you something. How many UFC fighters are there and how many boxers are there?
Exactly.
Boxers been around forever and there's loads of them everywhere.
But
UFC isn't everywhere.
Is there any like UFC fighters with 43 fights, 60 fights?
No.
Like, you know, a Pacquiao or someone like that.
Nobody goes through the divisions, do they?
Exactly.
There's a few 2 division, but because the jump is quite big, it's quite hard to do. So the only people who've done it are really special, or there's been a gap where the champions got injured or they're missing or something and somebody's managed to do it. And like most of them are unbeaten because
I
you
don't
just
see
can't
like
go.
UFC fighters like having 10, 15-year careers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think UFC's obviously a
There's
lot
people
more
who call
punishment.
out, but then
and
they don't
things.
have that many fights. Yeah, it's just a lot more. There's a lot more punishment and it's a lot harder on your body.
One belt in boxing, surely that's going to go the same as the UFC. That one fighter, he's only going to be fighting once a year against a man. So he's not going to be champion.
No, the thing is this, in UFC, it works because there's a limited number of things. Because there's not just the UFC, there's other fighting things. But the UFC, you've got the main one, and they don't stay there that long, so you've got a good turnaround.
Yeah.
Because it's the nature of the fight and the toughness of the fights. No matter how good you are, it's hard to get out of there unscathed, and the training is ridiculously hard. In boxing, you've got too many fighters to get in. Like, if we look at a division, like... rankings.
I can give you 100 rankings in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, well, look how many good fighters there are. All right, heavyweight, because you've got Usyk, isn't it? It's the main fighter. But like if we said, like the ones we've just done, like super welterweight, Ortiz Jr., world champion level. Fundora, he isn't the world champion, but he should be. Fundora, world champion level. Zayas, world champion. Madrimov's that level. Boots Ennis is that level. Josh Kelly is there, is world champion. Murtazaliev was world champion. They all at that level, and if there isn't the 4 belts, and even like, all right, they have the interim belts we laugh at, but like even that.
Yeah, and this is my point. If there's only one belt, they're not going to be. You're not going to get them
those fights. Yeah,
Plain
and I think
simple.
you can't do that. I think you have to keep boxing where it is, and that is where it is. but like amalgamating. And I think that's probably longer term.
Maybe that's
Zuffa's
what
plan.
Zuffa. Maybe
I think they're going to have to. I don't think they're going to they can't pull everybody away. And I don't think UFC is good for UFC. The model, I don't think it fits boxing. Because it's not the way people are used to it. And boxing is on a rise. You don't want to kill it with these things. But if you look at like that, you've got Sebastian Fundora as the WBC champion. Virgil Ortiz is the interim. Xander Zayas is the WBA. Boots Ennis is the interim. Josh Kelly is the IBF and Xander Zayas is the WBO. So, he's a unified champion. So they're all world-class fighters. So you've got fights now because you've got, Zayas is unified, but look at the fights. Kelly can fight. There's like 5 or 6 fights there that are all interesting. Plus the undercard of those people. Your Madrimovs, your Murtazalievs and co. And there's others on the list. How many fights there? You can make that. We'd go, that's a good fight there. We want to watch that. Whereas if it's just one, the queue is just going to be too long. That's my argument.
Do you know what? I get Zuffa have got a lot of money. I just don't think they can financially sustain it. This money runs out. I'm sorry, it does.
You can only buy success for so long. You've got to get something out of it.
And the likes of you go and fight in the fighter's hometown. It doesn't look like Zuffa want to be doing that. You know what I mean? In boxing, you like a Josh Kelly, you go and fight at the Stadium of Light because you can fill it with 40,000. You can make a load of money.
With like the Riyadh seasons is they did it in London, they've done it in America, they've done it in other places. The fights can be elsewhere, and they still help promote it. So that's a good thing because it was getting all the things. But we'll see. I think Zuffa, we need to do let's see what happens with these 2 fights, and then we can make a video on it, isn't it?
Hopefully.
And in the comments, let us know what you think of Zuffa boxing and what do you think of the UFC model of individual one champion versus the boxing ones. Do you think it would be better or not? Does it make sense? Because I think really people go on about them, but what we want to see is the good matches, the good fights.
We were getting them though.
Yeah, well, we have done in it since we've started the channel. Obviously it's our thing. We just happened to coincide with the Saudi money coming in. The fights have started to be made.
The Saudi money now, you're getting good fights.
Yeah, but they sort of initiated it, and people have to make them, and you're getting good undercards, other than Queensberry. But those fights are being
Queensberry
made.
are old school though. They put on the main big fight.
Well, but the thing with Queensberry, he's got a lot of champions, and he can spread them out.
Yeah,
he can make the
likes
events.
of Queensberry, Bob Abram, and things like that. They're still very old school. They put on like the massive main event, and then you can have a crappy undercard.
But Matchroom and the others, even Golden Boy and stuff, they are quite good undercards, and even the Riyadh season ones are good. So yeah, there's a thing there, but we'll see. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on Zuffa boxing. Let us know your thoughts on the UFC model, the boxing model. Do you want to see those things? And what's the main thing you want to see? Is it, because for me, it's just, we want to see good fights, the best fighting the best, whatever it's for. Yeah. And we've started to get that, and hopefully it'll continue, and hopefully Zuffa won't ruin that, but add to it if they want to survive.
Yeah, we shall see.
And we shall see on those things. Okay. So let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, press the notification bell so you know when we're making videos. And we're trying to keep up a good rate of videos now to cover everything, and it's quite hard work. So all the love and the hate is much appreciated. So whichever way you want to go, we're welcome to criticism. If there's things we can improve, or things you'd like to see, or things we should add, let us know. And follow us on Instagram at GenuineFakeBoxing. Follow us on TikTok at GenuineFakeBoxing. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and we shall see you in the next one.